Okay, we are live.
My struggles they more temporary. My trouble days could never face me. They could never face me though. They could never face me though. The amount of struggles I'm face and today I'm still alright. Just believing on yourself, cause
Okay, we
faith
have
in
some
yourself is a light.
viewers. Hi, welcome.
Don't dwell on the
Put
past, tell
your
yourself that the
flags
future will
in
be
the
great.
comments wherever you're
Yeah,
from.
from your heart life you possess the energy of a fighter. Yeah. My struggles they more temporary. My trouble days could never face me. They could never face me though.
Welcome to the live of
They could never face me though.
Okay, we're going to get started. Struggle to quote on one time. Big tunes phase. My struggles them will never phase me. That really hits. Okay. So today, yay! I wish I had sound effects, right, Louis?
I know.
Sound effects. So today we have Mr. Loïk Charles on the live stream. Welcome. We are
Hi.
we are speaking on the topic disabled, not enabled, Loïk's journey to self-improvement. So we have a very ambitious young man here. Before we get into the vibes, the questions, let me introduce myself, your host, Kudel Coffee. I am a influencer, a businesswoman, a leader, youth parliamentarian as well, and just an all-rounded individual. I do other things, dance and all that nice stuff. So that's about me. And we have our guest here, Loïk Charles. Now, before I speak a little bit about him, I have a quote, and I think this quote summarizes who Loïk is. And this quote is by Stevie Wonder. Big up Stevie Wonder. This is a big artist who was also blind, right, Loïk?
Yes, also blind, Stevie Wonder. Big up Stevie Wonder one time. I'd like to meet you someday, sir.
So the quote said, just because a man lacks eyesight doesn't mean that he lacks vision. So Loïk, you know that quote, man.
Oh yeah, I know part of it. I didn't know it was him, but I know that quote. Yes, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Okay, so Loïk is
strong
aware, and that is what I'm telling you. That's why I use this quote to describe this man, Loïk, because even though he lacks vision, this is not a man that lacks eyesight. This is not a man that lacks vision. He's actually inspired me a lot of times to open my vision. So Loïk graduated from SMA, St. Mary's Academy, and Dominican State College. Loïk, what did you do at Dominican State College again?
At Dominican State College, I majored in IT, information technology.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
And then you attended the University of the Incarnate Word, where you got your bachelor's degree in sociology, and now you are striving for a master's in social work. Is that correct?
Yes, that is exactly correct. Social work.
And Loïk is also a songwriter and producer. Can you tell them the name you go by?
Oh my gosh. So my artist name is Creature the Genius. It used to be just Creature, and I spell it differently. It's with a Kree. That's how I spell Creature, Kreecher. And yeah, I do songwriting, producing, I sing. I've been doing my thing for a while, a little over 10 years, nothing too major. Just trying to find my way as an artist and trying to grow every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Loïk, where can they find your music?
So currently, most of my music is still up on my YouTube channel, which is Creature the Genius, which is again spelled Kreecher, and the Genius is one word, which is spelled with THA. So it's not THE, but THA, and then Genius, GENIUS, as one word. That's how you can find me up on YouTube.
And spell it out for you. So
yes, spelled out. So my biggest song right now, you can stream my biggest song right now, which is Deep. This is a Bouillon song. It was actually my first Bouillon song. For those of you listening far and wide who do not know what Bouillon is, that's just not even just, it is our culture. It's part of Dominica's musical heritage. Bouillon music is an upbeat, up tempo type of vibes, kind of like the Afro beats that we love today. And so I did my first Bouillon song earlier this year titled Deep. So you can check that out on YouTube as well as my more recent and past work.
All right, thank you for that thorough explanation, Loïk. And also, my friend Loïk here is a Leo, so shout out to all the Leos.
Shout out, gang,
Ambitious,
Leo.
confident people, good vibes, good energies.
Of course.
Okay, so Loïk, we are here to not only speak about your cause and what you are striving for in life, but we're also here to gain awareness for your GoFundMe. So
Yes.
can you give us a little bit about the GoFundMe? What are you doing with that?
Okay, so this GoFundMe, we launched it in March of this year. When I say we, I'm speaking about myself and as well as my good friend Mr. Cole from San Antonio. He likes to go by Mr. Cole, so that's what I'll call
Not
him.
J. Cole.
Not J. Cole, not to be
Oh.
confused with J. Cole, definitely not. Unfortunately, but they could be distant cousins. You never know. I always tease him about that actually. So this GoFundMe, we launched it in March in order to, first of all, it's something that I started pursuing quite late. If you would ask most people, I wasn't necessarily in the position to start looking into school prior to March because I had been exhausting all my efforts in employment and so on and so forth. I've been looking at ways I could advance myself, and school, the social work idea came into my head. I was blessed with this idea, but I was blessed in later March. So I having a good relationship with God, I did pray on it. I did think about it a lot, reflected on it, and I was like, you know what? I believe whether or not, March, April, whenever it is, I believe that God will carry me through as long as I do what I can and let Him handle the rest, because
Yeah.
we've been through worse, that stranger things have happened, as we put it, so I've just been focusing on the GoFundMe was, as I said, launched in March, and we've been sharing the link, we've been doing flyers, we've been trying to actually organize a couple of events, fundraising events over
Okay.
here, but they had not yet been successful, so we are still working on that. The GoFundMe, however, is in order to assist me with school. As you mentioned earlier, I'm pursuing a master's degree in social work. From the Currently, I'm looking at the University of Texas State, San Antonio. So that's UTSA, and so that's the school I'm pursuing at the moment. Um, that's the school that I'm looking at. The program it's a program that I'm very much interested in joining. It's a dream of mine. I've always had this passion for, we'll get into more of my passion a bit later, but I've always been interested in social, being a social beacon of hope. And I believe that social work, my master's in social work, which of course, as we said, my GoFundMe is up to, so that's what I'm going for with this
Okay.
GoFundMe. I'm
So
trying my best to keep it short, but to try to explain as thorough as I can.
yes, you did a good job. Thanks,
Yeah.
Loïk. Loïk is
Yeah,
always
man.
this type of speaking person. Hey, we have Zariah.
Zahira, big up yourself, Zai. You don't know. One time, big up
She
Zahira.
dropped
Yeah,
a
man. You don't know.
Dominican flag. The one thing about Dominicans, we loud and proud. Yeah, I love that about us.
Yeah, man.
So
We are very proud people.
yes, and
Big
any
up
other
DA. One time.
island that's viewing or country that's viewing. So when you launched your GoFundMe in March and you are trying to get your masters at UTSA. Now, when is
Yes.
your deadline to get all of your funds secured?
The deadline to get my funds secured is June 5th. So that's not too far away. It's also, well, it's very close actually.
Yes.
But as I said prior, God is in control of everything. I'm just doing what I can, and so it's in June. It's in 1 month. Yeah.
Okay. And now, are you accepting donations through any other platform? Is it just GoFundMe?
So currently, yes, we are accepting through another platform, which the GoFundMe also has that information. But sister, the name of the individual who is accepting, we are accepting also PayPal, not PayPal, pardon me, more banking submissions, and so there's a number that's provided on the GoFundMe link. I don't have it at my disposal currently. I do apologize, but it is found on the link, which you guys can scan the QR code or click the link, which will be provided to go to the GoFundMe.
Yes.
But currently, these are the two places, the two ways that we have. So as I was saying, the mobile banking is for Dominicans, like people specifically in Dominica who would like to donate and would like to, donate using other means rather than GoFundMe. Because I know not everyone, these days everything is a scam. GoFundMe, is not the same as before. So we're trying to just have multiple ways so that people can, unfortunately, no physical location as yet. We're trying to still work on that, but these are the two forms of donation for now: GoFundMe and Mo Banking.
Okay. So look, we have some shout outs in the comments. Loïk
Yes,
Charles said, God bless you richly, Loïk.
oh, that's my stepmom. Bless you, bless you. Big up
And
one time. Big up daddy and everybody on that side.
Shane George said, Loïk, big up yourself one time. So,
Big up, brother. Big up, big up. Yeah,
and
man.
to the viewers or anybody who will catch the replay, the GoFundMe link is pinned in the comments, so you can check out everything for there. But let's get to know Loïk a little bit. Why should we send our money for Loïk? So Loïk, we want to know more about you. Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
I'm from the Irie town of, the Irie area of Pottersville. I want to say, I don't want to say I'm from town side, but I would like to say I'm from Pottersville. I'm a Pottersville man, as we would say. So I was born and raised pretty much there. Grew up at the Riverside. I grew up right next to Berean Christian Academy. That was the school that I went to. Unfortunately, Erica did some damage, so it's no longer there. But we do. That's where I'm from. I'm from Pottersville, and I also was raised in Mount Daniel. So I'm from Pottersville. I would say by way of Mount Daniel. Yeah.
Okay, so Pottersville, Mount Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a few more shout outs. I'm going to read them and then continue. We have Dua. I sorry if I butcher your name. Diwanali Blah.
That's correct.
Son. God's
That's
blessings always.
That's my sister. Good night.
Okay.
What she say? Good night, son.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, no problem. We'll talk about that.
Travis
Big up to my
Nation.
sister. Oh, Travis Nation. Big up yourself,
Travis
bro.
Nation said Dominica Massive, Castle Bruce. So we have Castle Bruce in the house.
Yeah, man. Castle Bruce in the
Castle
house.
Bruce people there. One thing.
Big up, bro. Yeah, man.
Castle Bruce people are very focused and very diligent in what they do.
Oh yes, trust me. Yeah. Hardworking people for sure. Big up all yourself.
So now, let's see something around there. Okay, so Loïk, you said you grew up in Pottersville and also Mount Daniel. Now, back in the day, I know him. I know where Loïk lives, and Loïk used to live on one kind of a long hill in Mount Daniel. I would never say Dominica have all them coins there, all them hidden kind of places.
Wow.
So,
I know.
where do you reside now? And what are you doing? You gave us a little bit of a background of that, but tell us a little bit more.
Okay. Yes, thank you. So, well, now I reside in the US. I reside somewhere in Texas. I'm in San Antonio. I live somewhere in San Antonio, beautiful city. Big up the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs, great basketball team. So that's where I currently live. That's where I went to school as well. I've been practically staying here since 2018. When I came here to attend UIW, in University of the Incarnate Word. So I got here through help of certain friends who I would like to take the time to shout out real quick, and just say a huge thank you to friends such as Mr. Edwin Blanton and the Ready, Willing, and Able team. I'm proud to be a an ambassador of that organization, this non-profit. I used to be a summer camp goer. I was a helper from at the RWE summer camp, so I want to shout them out. Shout out Sister Tina Alexander, and a number of other persons who helped me to make my way here to the US where I currently reside. And I'm currently working on a few beautiful projects which include music, which include trying to just be a beacon in the community. I'm trying to be a beacon of hope to the disabled people, both in San Antonio, from back home, and worldwide. Like I just want to reiterate that again, because so many times we forget to, first of all, shout out the people who helped us, and number two, to ensure that we know our worth, and know how inspiring we are. So I just wanted to slide that in real quick when you asked me where I currently reside. Yeah. Hello. Okay, so I do apologize. We're having a bit of technical difficulties. However, I would like to continue saying good evening to the folks who are tuned in. I would like to say good evening to all the friends at DAPD who are able to tune in. My parents. I would like to say good evening to Miss and Mrs. Murphy from DAPD, Miss Irma Raymond Joseph, Miss Ernika Esprit. I'd like to say good evening to Miss Annette Thomas, if you're listening, if you're tuned in. I would like to say also a special good evening to the folks at Kyrie, and thank you for helping us with this live stream this evening. I would like to say a good evening also to my good friends from UIW, whoever may be listening right now at UIW. I would like to say a special good evening again to my parents, my family, my newborn nephew. I'd like to say good evening to you, baby Soren Charles. I just want to thank everyone for being tuned in, and thank you for the donations thus far. Thank you for the support. I'm so appreciative of everything, and how I've just been receiving a bit of support from back home.
Okay,
And
I am back. I am so
okay,
sorry,
awesome.
Loïk.
Okay, I did not know. I did not see the text, so
No, I
I did
put
not know I was
it
supposed to
in
stop.
private chat. It's okay. What were
Okay,
you talking
okay,
about? So I can catch up and you could just keep going with the flow.
okay. So I was just shouting out people. Actually, I was just
Okay.
giving a few shout outs while we rectified a few things.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see we have my sis Kadisha Trico from Bahamas online. And we have Akel Charles who said big ups, bro. So shout out
Yes,
to everybody
yeah,
watching.
man. I just big him up. So shout out everybody for sure. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that all
Yes.
my people are tuned in for sure. Big up
Okay.
you guys.
So Loic, we found out where you reside now, what you are doing. Tell
Yes.
us if you are willing and able to share. Tell us the story of how you got blind. Can you give us a little background on that?
Okay, a bit of a background. So I was born as a premature baby. I was born 7 months instead of 9. And so what happened was I had complications at birth whereby I needed some oxygen, and in gaining too much oxygen, I then got my eyes got damaged, and I now have this condition which is called it is called some retinopathy. I do not remember the full name. I do pardon me, Doctor Hazel Ricketts. If you are tuned in, can you please remind me of the? Thank you. But on a serious note though, I so that's essentially how I got blind. I was blind at birth, but not born blind. So that's what happened. So I essentially was blind since after I was born.
Mhm. One of our viewers asked, how was it growing up in Dominica as a blind person, attending school, just navigating around? Can you tell us a little bit of your challenges,
Well, okay.
advantages as well, if
Okay.
there are any?
Yes. So challenges. Well, the biggest challenge, of course, was learning my surroundings. When in a new area. But luckily for me, I learn my surroundings rather quickly. I get oriented easily, especially when I have my cane or I have a good guide, of course. But one of the other biggest challenges that I always had was being social. And I know that's a funny thing to hear from me, especially from people who know me, because or two people who know me rather, because I would say I'm a social person. I can interact with people very well, but if I'm not comfortable, I'm not sure who's around or how things are going. Like for instance, it's a bit difficult for me because I get anxious pretty easily, so that lends to being shy, that lends to keeping to myself, all of these things. So that's two of the biggest challenges. But I would also like to give an advantage. One of the biggest advantages of this, or two, is being a good listener, a great listener, and being able to have great discernment to give good advice. Like I I've been told by many of my friends that I give great advice, and so that's one of the many reasons why I'm actually so interested in being a social worker. Because within that field has counseling, and that's one of the to me that's one of the best thing that's best ways to help people, being emotionally there for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I can vouch for that too. I mean, there was this time in my life where Loïk was the only person I had by my side, and he was a very good guide at that time for me. So shout out to you, Loïk, of
Oh
course.
boy, I
You
appreciate
know,
them. After all,
yeah.
you don't know.
Wendy Wallace, the second vice president of the National Youth Council, is viewing, and she said, "Only love." J.S. Samuel, shout out
Oh
J.S.
yeah, shout out JS and shout out to the NYC.
Yeah.
I also was an executive member, differently abled representative. I had a short stint in 2021 due to having to go back to continue my education. But I would like to shout out everyone who's currently on the executive, as well as those who were on the executive with me. People such as Rila Benjamin, Miss Ashma McDougall, Mr. File, Lander, and others. Big up you guys selves. Ashford Norris, you don't know.
Yes,
Blessings.
man. Good people. J.S. Samuel said, yes, well, we can kill. Big up all yourself. We don't learn. Big up J.S.
Yes,
Samuel.
sir. Big up Ras. You don't know.
All right. So, like, what do you see exactly? Do you see anything? Tell us. Like, do you see colors, lights?
So just light. I actually only have light perception in my right eye. I used to have color perception when I was younger. So one of my cousins and my cousin Lisa and my dad actually taught me colors when I could see around the age of 5 or so. When I could have the identification. So I still have color identification, but I can no longer identify them as easily. I still know pardon me, I still remember the colors, but I don't have the identification anymore. It's faded with age, I guess. I'm getting old before I'm getting old. you know,
Oh, like you're not 27. Like,
I'm 27. I guess you could say 72.
So I'm intrigued. How do you daydream? And let's say you daydreaming. What do you daydream about?
How do I daydream? How do I guess how do we daydream? It's based on, I would
Mm-hmm.
assume it's based on like where you are versus where you would like to be. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's just being in your mind, really. It's just tuning
Okay.
out and meditating and zoning into yourself and zoning out from your surroundings. That's all daydreaming is to me. So
Okay.
you can daydream at any time, essentially. It doesn't have to be daylight for you. It does
I
by
guess.
terms wise, but
Mm-hmm.
in terms of daydreaming and what I daydream about, I always daydream about happy, like where I would like to be 5 years from now. That's the type of stuff that's always on my mind. Like, where do I see myself? What do I want to be doing? How, my happiness level, all these things is what I reflect upon when I daydream.
Okay. And
Yes.
we are taking questions from our audience, so feel free to ask your
Yes,
questions.
please. Please ask your questions. They're
I
all well.
guess I asked about the daydreaming because with eyesight,
Hmm.
sometimes we are so limited with what we can daydream about because
Hmm.
sometimes we just focus on the visual rather than tuning out of everything visual and just focusing on, I guess, nothingness. So I guess with you, is it like a nothingness, or is it like is there a light, a color you see, or is it just
I would say that I don't see anything as much as I experience it. So I
okay,
experience the daydream. It's 10 times better than seeing the daydream, I would say.
facts?
So
Okay,
I
that's
kind of,
dope.
I'm there when I'm there, if you get me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there when I'm there.
Okay, so Loïc, I remember we used to chill out by the Dominican Association of Disabled Persons
And
office a lot,
the
right?
DAPD office, yes,
Yes,
yes.
so shout out to the DAPD one
Yes, shout
time.
out to the whole family at DAPD once again. Shout out to my boy Dion. I didn't hear you up before. Big up yourself, bro. You don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so with that, you were exposed to social work for a very long time through that organization and through your own disability, right?
Yes.
So, and you gave us the idea that certain things brought you into social work. So, what really sparked you from bachelor's degree in sociology to master's in social work? What are your intentions with that journey?
Hmm. Great question. So my sociology bachelor's was something that actually I fell into, and what I mean by that is when in 2020 when the pandemic started, I ended up having to fly back home quickly, like on the fly almost for no pun intended. I had to fly back home within a week because there was a pandemic and it was spring break and no one knew what was happening. We just knew school was closed indefinitely. And so I didn't really have a place to stay on, so I flew back home. That's when I ended up having to change. I first was majoring in music industry studies, which by the way I loved very much. um, Sociology came about from needing to change my major and trying to work out graduation. Now, God is so good that that worked out in the way that I ended up graduating last year. Amen. And I was actually reflecting on what am I gonna do next. At first, I would say I don't know about going back to school right away. I mean, there was a number of factors against me in that regard. There was financial reasons. There was a bunch of other reasons as well. But in terms of my spirit being ready, that, as I said before, happened in March, and so that's when I actually got this revelation. You know what? I should. This is something that I really love. This is something that I've been this whole year before that. I've been constantly looking at like inspirational like counselors and motivational speakers, people of that sort, and thinking of myself in that field. I was like, you know what, I want to be able to do that, but I also want to be able to do more than that. So how can I do that? And so I started researching into programs, and this is what spoke to me. So that's how the transition from sociology to social work actually happened.
So, and now, I guess, what are your top two or three goals after you've
Mm,
achieved this master's in social work? What do you intend to give back? Because social work is about giving, right? So,
giving, indeed,
tell
indeed.
me, just give us a little idea.
Oh yeah. So the first thing I intend to give back, of course, well, the first thing I intend to do rather, is to give back as much of that knowledge that I mean, let's keep it real, the education and so on. When we learn things, we do not learn it for ourselves. You don't actually benefit anything from keeping what you learn to yourself. The goal, the real key, the real gift is when you're able to not only share but share effectively what you've learned and share the thoughts that you've gathered and understood from learning these things, so that's one of the, and not only that, but aim to change the world while doing so. So that's one of the things that I want to, that my biggest goal is to be able to share and change the world with my sharing, my knowledge, with my understanding, with my words, my songwriting, anything that God sees fit to help me to, be a better social worker. That is it for me. And I would say the second goal, of course, is to keep being a loud and proud advocate of the disability of the community of disabled persons worldwide. I would not even say I'm a Dominican living with a disability, or I'm a someone in San Antonio. I would say I'm part of the world. I'm part of the normal world. The only thing that's different is I can't see. So I just want to be able to keep standing up for that community, and keep saying that, hey, we're blind, we can't speak, we can't hear, but we can do just as much as you. That's one of the biggest things I want to, the impact I want to have with my degree.
I know it. You said what you just mentioned there. We're blind, but we can do just as much as you. I remember Loïk had astonished my mind in high school when I see Loïk go and make conflicts for himself. I was like, what? So tell us, give us an idea of certain things you do by yourself that will have people like, how does a blind man do that? Like, I know you get a lot. Are you really blind? So give us
Oh yeah,
some
trust me.
examples.
All the time, people that know me my whole life still questioning my
I
blindness.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, I know. I sometimes question myself too. One time though, before I continue, I just want to again shout out all of my close friends and people who actually look out for me, because that's a thing that we gloss over a lot, is our friends and family being our support system. You know, like, this ties in perfectly to your question, because, like, for instance, my mother, I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for my mother, because in terms of teaching me stuff, even my, like, there's other family members that tell my mother, if like, they commend her, they look up to her, they salute her, because, like, they don't know how they themselves would be able to manage. And that's not even saying that they wouldn't want to. It's just, it's a certain level of wow, of wisdom, of, like, strength it takes to be that type of guide for not only a blind person, but for a stubborn person like me. You understand me? I can be very stubborn. I can be very hard headed. Trust me, she can attest to that. But one thing she can also agree and attest to is that when I learn something, I learn it well, and I learn very quickly. So, like, all those things you just mentioned, like, I can cook a few things for myself. I wouldn't say I'm a chef or anything, although when I tell people what I'm making and how I'm making it, they'll say I'm a chef, but I wouldn't say that.
What
Chef
is
didn't take as
what
much
is
time as I
something?
as me. Sorry.
What is give us one food you make?
Okay. One food I make, bro. It's not a fancy food, but everybody that eat my scrambled eggs can attest to how much love and passion and seasoning I put in into it. It's
What's
the
in
love and the
scrambled egg?
passion and the seasoning for me. You check?
Okay. Okay, so
So,
we have
like,
a few.
mhm.
Sorry, go on.
Oh no, no, no. Let me just wrap up on that point. So, I can make my bed, I dress, I bathe, I cook, I can wash clothes in my hand if I want to. I don't, but I can because my mom taught me. There's a lot of things that I don't do today by choice, but if I have to, I can. We get lazy and we find quicker and easier ways to do things. But once you know what to do, you know what to do. It's like riding a bike. Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Go ahead.
so we have a few questions from the audience. So we're going to go through their questions. We have three of them. So Akal Charles is asking about the music. He said, "Where did your love of music stem from?"
Hmm. Wow. Boy, that is a good one. My love of music stem far back as I can remember. Probably since in the womb. But I mean anybody can say that. So the stories I would give to support that is one, my mother always used to tell me how she had to sing two booyah songs for me to fall asleep. The Chicken Rhythm by First Serenade Band and Big Bamboo by PIK Partners in Crime. Them two songs, I don't know why. I don't know what was wrong with me as a child. As a child, I don't know what was wrong with me, bro. But those are the songs that made me first.
What a big bamboo song going?
Tony have a big bamboo. Oh, Tony don't have no bamboo, something like that. But that is how the song goes.
You have to listen to that song to fall asleep.
My mother, no, I didn't have to listen to it. My mother had to sing it to me. If it was listened to it, she wouldn't mind. You check? But yeah, so and even growing up here, daddy, every year my father, Vincent Charles, big up yourself, daddy, already. I don't know if you're listening, but big up. So like every birthday, even my stepdad to shout out daddy one time doing, already, doing blood. That is my stepdad. So that's my stepdad and Glenn Charles, who we just saw commenting earlier, that's my stepmom. So shout out to all my four parents. All of them have an integral role in my life. But even my dad and my stepdad specifically, they would always buy me music related things for Christmas or for my birthday. Like, is they that know how much I like music? My mother know too. And so one time my parents actually even bought me a keyboard for my birthday. Like, music goes deep, man. I have a few guitars. I had a few guitars in my life. Like, I can't play it. I always wanted to. I never really got the hang of it, and I still want to. It's never too late to learn. Just remember that, guys. Never too late to learn. So I go into learn the guitar and I'll show you. Yeah, big up.
Okay.
But that's how the music start. The love for music, it's stem deep. Trust me, it's stem deep.
Well, definitely deep if you have to listen to that song to fall asleep. So our next question is from Khadija Trico. She said, "Loïk, what would you say, in your experience, the biggest misconception about people with disabilities?" So I guess what is in your
um well, it's probably a bit like heavy hitting and probably a bit morbid, but it's like it's just that it's not, I wouldn't say a misconception, but it's more so an attitude towards us. It's like once you have a disability, you're pretty much incompetent of everything else beyond your disability. It's like if I cannot see, I suddenly cannot do anything else. I cannot hear, I cannot walk, I cannot think for myself to a certain extent. And obviously, like, thank you to all my friends and family who've never treated me that way, including yourself, Kudel. Big up yourself one time. We used to roll together all the time. You don't know. But it's like a lot of people just think that people with disabilities are meant to be shut up or shut down or shut away. It's always shut with us. But it's like another misconception I can point at just towards blind people or about blind people, just to make it more personal, is that a lot of times people would just assume that you don't need help because you don't ask for it. I would say, because there's a middle ground. There's asking for help, and there's also noticing, being humanitarian enough to notice when somebody needs help. And I'm not saying every time you see somebody, before you see somebody, take a deep breath, you have to ask them if they need help. But at the same time, you could be a bit more concerned. That's something that a harsh reality I had to come to moving here. That a lot of times you would think that in a bigger country people would help because they know more about blind people, but it's just that people are a lot more independent. So if you're not as independent, which in my case, moving into a new place, I was not as independent at first, I would technically have to fend for myself, or that's where the advocacy comes in. That's where you have to speak up for yourself. Like, that's another thing that kicks in, is that people tend to not. You have to speak up for yourself. People can't always know what you want, but at the same time, it's just a learning lesson for me and for everyone else, that we just need to be more mindful of the people around us and who needs help. You never know who's crying out for help without crying out for help. Yeah.
That's a very good point, though. Um, as an able-bodied person, I often try to not overstep those type of boundaries. I try to listen to cues of when someone would need my help, or just not even asking. Sometimes you automatically just give yourself. I know often
Mm-hmm.
we you walk often with your hand on my shoulders, and I know it's just something automatic. It's just something to
Yep.
ask, but there are
Yep.
certain things I would want to see it. You would ask me for help first
Ah.
before, and I think that's something that other able-bodied persons should recognize, is just being
Mhm.
able to not just to be able to present yourself for help, but also not looking at disabled persons
Not
as
to be too
completely,
pushy. Mm-hmm.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
completely helpless. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is an issue we have in the Caribbean, specifically too. Um,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
yes, I guess it's with proper education about disabilities and
It's just
persons
raising
like
the
me.
awareness. Yes,
Yes,
yes. It's people like me who who need to take up the baton and kind of try to raise the awareness, because we don't know what we don't know.
yes.
But indeed, this discussion is proving very helpful to many. I can feel it. I don't even have to ask. I can feel it. Trust me. I know.
Awesome. So we have another question. Before we go on to the question, Glenn Charles said your dad is there listening too. So shout out to your
Oh,
dad.
yes, I big up daddy. You don't know. Oh, say Charlo. Oh, I'm Uncle Charlo now, so I cannot call you Charlo again, because by Soren, Soren is that getting the Uncle Charlo. He's Grandpa Charlo right now.
Oh,
Big
well,
up to
all
my
right.
daddy.
That is an inside joke. I cannot tell that
Oh boy, is an inside joke, but we get it. He gets it, man. He
one.
gets
Okay then.
it.
So Zahira Williams said, "Who is your biggest influence in, if any, from Dominica and worldwide?" So two, Dominica worldwide, your biggest influence.
Okay, my biggest influence, just generally, I would assume generally. Wow, that's still very hard though. There's a lot of hmm. Okay, so my biggest influence in terms of just man, that's tough. I don't want to pick. It's like hard to pick one person and then. So in Dominica, I would say my biggest influence is boy, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Michael Murphy is one of my biggest influences. That man, he's well into his 70s right now, and he hasn't been blind his whole life. However, Mr. Murphy is a very inspirational man to me in terms of his wisdom, in terms of how he, despite not being blind his whole life, the way he adjusted to being blind, the way he accepted it. I'm pretty sure it was a transition for him. Of course, it probably took some time to get where he is today. But knowing him now and him being the type of mentor that he is in my life, oh boy, there's as soon as I say the word mentor, it triggered a lot of other good mentors, man. But Mr. Murphy is who I would pick. Mr. Michael Murphy. Shout out to you, sir. Again. And worldwide is a lot harder. It is a lot harder. Um, so I would like to skip that. I plead the fifth on that one. Sorry. Thank you.
So you don't have at least one person you can
No,
just
I'm not going to pick anyone. I'm sorry. I would like to skip that one. Yeah.
boo tomato tomato.
I know, right? Oh. Well, we'll I would like to answer that at a later age when I have more experience in
Okay.
discerning role models. But thanks for the question, though. That's a very deep question. You see how you make me forfeit? Yeah, big up yourself.
I like what you said. When you have a better experience in discerning role models, that's a nice bit of wisdom to share for any young person who may come across this life in any time of their life.
Oh yeah.
To
Big up
always
to
just take your time to discern
yeah.
who to look
Mm-hmm.
up to.
Make great decisions. Always try to make the best decision. We're not
Yeah.
perfect, but always try for sure.
Yeah. So, Loïc, what is a quote you live by? What is something you do or say
Hmm.
that motivates you when you feel your worst?
Oh, That's very easy, man. Through all things, Christ strengthens me.
Okay.
Christ is that's a I'm probably butchering the quote because I have not read the quote in a while. It's a Bible quote, it's a Bible scripture. But through all things, Christ strengthens me. That's like something that really resonates with me because I mean, to be real, if we had to look for internal strength, we'd probably be dead a long time ago. Trust me, we wouldn't find that strength. We would
I
not
mean,
find that strength.
yes. There are many
Trust.
times when I just I just say I give up. I give this to God. I cannot handle this. Take it
Yeah, man.
and do what you
Sometimes you just have to call on Jah. You understand?
yeah.
Like that's just all it is sometimes, bro. Like we can't. There's no two ways around it, man. Trust me. We are all human. Nothing wrong in calling on the Creator, for
Yes.
sure.
Yes. And having faith in that too, because
Yes,
you have to have that faith that the Creator will
of
listen and
course, of course. If you don't think you're going to listen, then you might as well not.
I
you
know.
know.
So, Loic, to pick your brain a little, if you
Mhm.
could trade places with any person, who would you trade places with?
If I could trade places with any person, wow, I
And
would.
why?
And why? Okay, so is that a temporary trade, like one day, or just the rest of our lives we traded?
And Loic have to do all the
Mm-hmm.
things, if it's temporary or if it's forever.
Mm-hmm.
Temporary,
I want to
so
make sure. Okay,
one day.
cool. Okay, one day. Okay. Well, then I'll just pick. Well, I mean, I would pick somebody that's seeing, but I'd like to be the life of Stevie Wonder for a day. Honestly, that's another a blind man that I would really be interested in how he. I don't know how much I would learn in a day, but I would love to take that one day to just understand as much as I can from his, because he's an older blind guy who
Mm,
basically has traveled the world and seen the
mm,
world in a different way, even from me, even from anyone else who has traveled the world. We
mm,
all see the world in our own eyes, but at least the eyes of another blind man would give me the best view that I need.
mm.
Because if I was to pick the life of a seeing person, I think I'd be distracted too much by what I see, and I would not focus on life itself.
I know, I know. That's something. That's a nice wisdom that you're sharing to those of us who can't see. Sometimes it's good to tune out and just look within or ignore all these distractions, right?
Definitely, definitely, my
So,
friend, for sure.
interestingly, Louis, interestingly,
Hmm.
I'm sure a lot of close-minded individuals would say that blind people cannot enjoy movies. Is there any movie ever in your life that you have enjoyed?
Tons. Just to put
Okay,
it bluntly and quickly, tons.
okay.
Yeah, I've enjoyed a lot of movies. One of my favorites, though, which I want to watch that movie with I would like to, as soon as I mentioned her, I want to shout out to my baby girl, Cheyenne. One time, that's my girlfriend, already,
Girl,
and not for much longer. But anyway, so
oh, wifey. Okay, and you announced
soon,
it
man.
here
I am
earlier.
not announcing anything. I'm just
No, no,
saying that
oh,
soon
oh,
enough,
okay.
it wouldn't be my girlfriend anymore. That's all I say. No announcement. But no, I really love the movie Ray. That's the movie by played by Jamie Foxx where he portrayed Ray Charles, who is another famous blind singer,
Okay.
musician, I would say, not just singer. That was a very good movie, which I believe it portrayed Ray's life very well. Like it showed how people took advantage of him because he was blind. It showed how he persevered. It showed how he always made a way. Like literally, they paid him in singles just so he could be able to know his own money. Yet they were
Mm,
still stealing from him. Something else, huh? But
well,
yes, so like that's a great movie. That's a great movie.
okay. I will definitely check out that movie. I maybe watched it back in the day, but I don't have a fair
Mm.
knowledge of it.
Yes, this one came out in 2004. So yeah, check it out,
Okay.
man. Ray,
I love old
Ray.
time movies, so
2004 is not old time.
I mean, come on, 2004.
19 years
That's like
ago, I
this
was
is
alive.
2023. This is almost 10 years ago.
Once I was alive, it was an old time.
Okay then. So Annette Thomas, commented in the comments about the Bible verse. She said the scripture is Philippines 4:13.
413. Okay, thank you very
So
much, Miss Thomas. Oh, you're listening. I really I appreciate that. Thank you for first of all tuning in, and second of all, I appreciate the correction. Yes. Philippians
and
413.
I googled it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, you can read it again for us, please.
Yes, I will read from verse 12 though, because
Ah,
verse 12 says interesting. Verse 12 to verse 13. So verse 12 says, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secrets of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all things through him who gives me strength. This is the vision on
mm,
this is one of the visions on
okay,
marketing.
the ESV probably are one of those. Yes,
Yes,
but that's a
through him for
great,
Christ who strength who gives me strength.
great scripture for sure. Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
yes. No, it's
Very
okay.
inspiring. Very
Yes.
inspiring.
So, Loic, um, we are 50 minutes in, so we should be wrapping up. I don't know if you have anything more you want to say. Uh,
Oh,
I
wow.
do want to ask you, as a young professional, what do you think or is the most essential professional skill or skills for young people?
Okay. Essential professional skills for young people. I would say, well, nowadays especially, um, good decision making, good and quick as possible decision making. You know, the saying goes, nothing good comes quick or easy, and nothing easy or quick is good. But in terms of decisions, you have to try to be efficient in decision making when it comes to business. So I believe that is a very, very underrated but essential skill. I believe COVID, the pandemic, I think we can all attest to how that proved this, because after businesses were down for so long, they just needed the quickest way to get back on their feet financially, and that proved that point. Yeah.
And if we have any more questions from our viewers, we're taking them right now. So go
Yes,
ahead and put
please.
your last minute questions. Loic, what is at the top of your bucket list?
Hmm. Currently the top of my bucket list. Oh, is that like the top of my? Oh my gosh. I don't know what's on the top of my bucket list for right now. I just know that I would like to. Oh man. One of the things that I'm very much interested in doing, I'm just going to say it because it's fun, that it's not necessarily something that's very serious. I would like to do indoor skydiving. And
Hmm.
many of us haven't heard of that, but it's real cool. I myself hadn't heard of it until my girlfriend and I did some research and read up on it. It's skydiving indoors, essentially, where they have harnesses and whatever else to help you. It's like assistive skydiving, more or less. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't done much extensive, like in terms of looking at videos, of course. I I don't remember what the videos that we looked at were, but I do remember that it was fun enough that it's something that I really want to do. It sounds really fun. I love traveling and I love getting on like rides and stuff like that. So I feel like that's the biggest and next best thing I can do before my life is ended. In Jesus'
Oh,
name. Yeah.
amen. Jacqueline Charles says, blessings, Loic.
Yes, I auntie. Big up yourself. Yeah, man. That's Auntie Jacqueline. Yeah, man.
And
Pottersville massive.
okay. Loic, how would you describe, I guess, the impact you wish to have with your platform moving forward?
Mm. So my impact moving forward, man. I have a few platforms that I'm trying to integrate into one. The biggest platform that I'm focusing on though right now is the Instagram of my cause, which is this is called the Take the Lead campaign. So on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, the name of the account is called at Take the Lead campaign. It's
Okay,
not
so
at Take the Lead, but it's Take the Lead campaign. And so this page where we're focused on bringing, like, sharing a lot of informational a lot of facts, a lot of informational posts pertaining to how you deal with persons with disabilities, how you identify them, how you treat them, how you incorporate them into everyday life, into business, into all these things. And so that is one of the things that I'm trying to maximize on all of my platforms, on Facebook, on on my personal Instagram, all of these things. But for now, I would like to make my main focus the Instagram page, which me and my good friend Mr. Cole, who I would like to give a shout out to again. Me and Mr. Cole are both on this campaign. We're both trying our best to, it's all linked to the GoFundMe. It's all linked to the cause. It's all linked to my educational journey and my journey in general as someone living with a disability. So that's something that I want to use my platform to always keep putting out there.
And you said the Instagram is Take the Lead?
Take the Lead campaign, yes. So it's called Take the Lead campaign. That's the full name of the Instagram. So everyone, like Miss Coffee, will be providing that and the link.
Yes, I'm actually going to put
Okay.
the comments.
Okay, cool, perfect. So we'll be doing that as well. And pardon me, I couldn't do it myself, but we are getting that up. We're getting that up right now. And so this is the Take the Lead campaign Instagram page. Please follow us.
I actually share the screen and show the page.
Oh, awesome.
Let me do that right quick.
Okay, cool. Yes, so this campaign is it's small, but it's growing quickly. Everything starts small. We start as babies and we grow. So this is my baby, and I'm very happy to introduce it to the world. The Take the Lead campaign and everything I have moving forward that I will, for now, not speak so much on. But just to let a little cat out of the bag, I'm looking into starting a charity organization. This is something that is in the infancy stages, and so I'm not going to reveal any details of that right now, but God's willing, everyone, you will see what it is. It's something that I'm very proud of, and I can't wait to move forward and introduce it to everyone.
Okay. So I shared the screen. You guys can see the Take the Lead campaign Instagram page I just followed. And Loïk has a few posts up. So Loïk, you are working in partnership with someone, you said, on this, right?
Yes, I'm working in partnership with a good friend of mine who is also a consultant, business consultant. We wear many hats. We both wear many hats. So we are just in conjunction with this campaign trying to push things forward and be advocates for the disability community.
Okay, so we don't seem to have much more questions from the audience. I have one more question.
Okay.
Why did you choose to use my platform to go ahead and spread your message? Come on, let me know.
Oh, I've been waiting for this all night. Oh, trust me, like it is a great pleasure of mine, bro. I mean, I don't know where to start. I'm sorry to call you bro, but you don't know. Like we've been good friends for many years, and if it's one thing I do know about you is that you are someone who is very, very wise, very supportive, and you are someone who is also building a platform. Sorry, you're building a platform yourself. We're both building platforms. We're both people who consider ourselves. Well, I don't necessarily consider myself an influencer, but we both consider ourselves inspirational. We strive to inspire others, and I feel like two hands clap better than one, right? Like I know for a fact, even if it's 10 people, even if it was 20 people that tuned in, at least one person would be touched and would be very much moved and interested by this live. If it's not one thing, it's another. It would be they would donate, they would love to to know more about the movement. They would love to know more about your platform. We're all going to benefit from this. Even shout out again to Kyrie FM.
Oh yes, I was just
shout out to Kyrie FM, and thank you so much for for giving us this platform as well. So I'm very proud of you. Like, you're a friend that I'm very proud of, Cadell. Like, extremely proud of you. I just want you to know that, and I'm looking forward to everything that you have going on in the future. And I'm very happy that we made history tonight. This is etched in history right now. Thank you.
you are so in tune. When you said at least 20 people, we had at least 20 people right there at that moment. So that's so cool.
Wow.
Before I move
Everything
forward,
is aligned.
yes, I want to shout out Kyrie again. Just like how you don't want to let too much out of the bag, but since we have a few people online and you told us about your charity in the making, I also want to announce my, well, it's not just me, it's me and I'm the co-host, and we have the main host, and we are launching a youth program on Kyrie FM really soon. So shout out to Kyrie for sure. They really support the youth, and we're very thankful. So we are
Indeed,
one
very
hour
much so.
in. I'm going to read the two last comments, and then I'm going to just play our guy Colton T again. We're gonna play his song to just close off.
Yes. And
Glenn
big up to
Charles,
Colton T one time as well, you know. Thank you. Yeah.
Glenn Charles said, "Great job," and Thomas said, "Well done, Loïk. So proud of you."
Oh wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Charles and Miss Thomas. Shout out to you guys and trust me, I really appreciate it. Thank you for
So,
tuning in.
yes, thank you all of our viewers. We're just going to play the song till it ends, and when we'll close off when it ends, so you guys can
Yes.
choose now or listen to the rest of the song.
Expectations breed disappointments. But stressing over things you can't control is a problem. Avoid them if you can't do it. No situation is permanent and nothing bad lasts forever. But struggle is a part of the life that we live, so best get it together.
So, hey,
My struggles they more temporary, and my trouble days could never face me. They could never face me though.
by the way, if we have any Dominicans viewing, shout out to the Dominican next
With
top
the flag up.
competition. You shouted out your girl. I just want to shout out my team man one time. He participated in that competition. So anybody who is interested in going, tickets are on sale. It's going to be held in the stadium. So definitely check it out. Dominica coming on the map, you know.
My struggles they more temporary. My trouble days could never face me. They could never face me though. Yeah. They could never face me though. My trouble days
Okay,
they
so
are
bye everyone. I'm going to
temporary.
end live.
My
Thank you so much.
struggles they
Bye, Loïk.
could never face
Bye guys, bye
They could
Fidel, bye
never
everyone
face
for
me
tuning
though.
in, bye everyone who tuned in. Please have a blessed
They
evening.
could
Stay
never
safe. If
face
you're at
me
home,
though.
continue to be safe, you know, and blessings. Big up
Yeah.
yourselves.
See you later.
Yes, sir.